Quite a star-studded swearing in it was for Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. In fact, that's what we'll talk about, Siddharth, at 8:30. Another NDA government in the south. Can they really breach that bastion which is considered impenetrable? Hi, you're watching India Upfront. Our top story: after the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, it's become quite clear that the Congress is going to double down on the Constitution is in danger pitch. And the audience for this pitch is clear: the sizable Dalit vote in India. In fact, today on a tour of Kerala after Uttar Pradesh, Rahul Gandhi launched a strong attack on the BJP and the Prime Minister in particular. He reiterated the charge that the BJP and the Prime Minister want to change the Constitution and that the people of India, through the Lok Sabha results, had shown them that any such attempt will be resisted. In fact, earlier, when the Prime Minister's office changed the cover picture on its Twitter handle to one where the PM had bowed to the Constitution, that too was called an effect of Rahul Gandhi's campaign. Today, Rahul Gandhi referred to that very image of the Prime Minister bowing in the Parliament during a meeting of the NDA MPs to say, this is what happens when the people speak up against any attack on India's Constitution. Listen.
And the people of Kerala, the people of Uttar Pradesh, they showed the Prime Minister, people of all other states showed the Prime Minister that you cannot dictate to the people of India what we want. And the people of India also told them that the Constitution is our voice. Do not touch the Constitution. Before the election, you saw BJP leaders saying, we will tear up the Constitution, we will throw the Constitution away, we will change the Constitution. After the election, you saw the Prime Minister doing this to the Constitution. And the fight in this election was about the Constitution. And it was, on one side, millions of Indian people saying that we want our tradition, we believe in our language, we believe in our culture, we believe in our history, and we will define our future.
But why does this Constitution pitch matter? And why is Rahul Gandhi and the Congress reiterating it? It's because in the election campaign for the Lok Sabha, the Constitution, was directly linked to the issue of reservation. And eventually the results show that the Dalit vote, which is most impacted by the reservation debate, did shift away discernibly from the BJP. A fact that even allies like the Shiv Sena and NCP are now acknowledging.
मोदी जी अभी तीसरी बार 10 साल में जो काम किया मोदी जी ने, हमने देखा है कि इतने निर्णय उन्होंने लिए कि पिछले 50-60 सालों में निर्णय नहीं हुए थे, उतने निर्णय 10 साल में हुए. लेकिन क्या हुआ, इसके अंदर कुछ फॉल्स नैरेटिव सेट करने की वजह से कुछ जगह पर हमें नुकसान हुआ है. महाराष्ट्र में भी नुकसान हुआ है. संविधान बदलेंगे, ये होगा, रिजर्वेशन जाएगा, फलाना होगा, कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला था. लेकिन 400 पार वाला आंकड़ा जो है, उसके वजह से लोगों के दिमाग में एकदम ऐसी बात हो गई कि ये सब आगे जाके कुछ गड़बड़ होगी.
देखिए, ये बिल्कुल सही है. माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के जो उन्होंने बयान दिया है, उससे बिल्कुल राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस भी पार्टी भी सहमत है. हमारे वर्धापन दिन के जो समारोह में प्रफुल्ल पटेल साहब, हमारे अध्यक्ष साहब और बहुत जनों ने इस बारे में जिक्र किया कि एक्चुअल में परिस्थिति वैसी नहीं थी, वो इंटेंशन नहीं था. लेकिन उसी चीज को कोई भी पार्टी ज्यादा से ज्यादा सीटें हमारी आनी चाहिए. अब अगर हम विधानसभा में अब की बार 200 पार ऐसा अगर हम घोषणा देते हैं, तो उसका कोई अलग से मतलब निकाल के उसके संविधान को अगर उसको जोड़ने का कोशिश करेगा, तो उससे कंफ्यूजन पैदा हो सकता है. और
So the big question now is the entire allegation that the BJP is against the Constitution and that this is directly going to reflect on the reservation going to hurt the BJP further? Because the Congress is not going to let go. If anything, it has doubled down on its allegation that quotas especially for the backward, the Dalits, the tribals in our country are in danger. It is going to keep talking about it in every election campaign. Can the BJP then, in the face of this charge, regain the ground it has lost vis-a-vis the Dalit votes? Joining us today on the show, we have Shazia Ilmi, national spokesperson of the BJP, JVC Sriram, political strategist and commentator, Anant Vijay, senior journalist, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, political analyst, and Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, also with me in the studio. Let me start with you, Kamruzaman Chaudhary. Just to set a few facts straight though, when Jairam Ramesh said that the Prime Minister is forced to bow to the Constitution because Rahul Gandhi told him, that's actually not true. He did it in 2019 as well. And there is video proof of how the PM had done it in 2019 and he did it in 2024. So that's as far as the factual position is concerned.
Now, Padmaja, first and foremost, my condolences along with the rest of my countrymen for those tragic lives that were lost in Kuwait. And I hope the peace is there with the family members of all those who lost their lives. Now, coming to the main topic of discussion today, whether the Constitution, changing the Constitution was a bogey for the election, or was it a genuine fear that crept into all of our minds, particularly the opposition, in the opposition. In this, you cannot see the isolation of 2024 election. Even in 2000, you know, the K. Sudarshan, the RSS chief, he said that the Constitution was a Western concept. Even the chief of PM's advisory body a few years ago, Vivek Debroy, he said there is a need to relook at the institution. RSS current chief Mohan Bhagwat, prior to Bihar's election, he said we need to look for the reservation issue in the Constitution. So don't look at this entire issue in isolation.
But if we were to go by what election. People have said, Nehruji himself in a letter had said the same, that any kind of reservation breeds mediocrity. Does that mean all of Congress is anti-reservation?
That's your point of view.
That's not my point of view. That is Nehruji's actual letter. It's a documented letter.
People from the right wing still think about it.
It's not my point of view. अनंत विजय जी, आप बताना चाहेंगे नेहरू जी ने क्या ये चिट्ठी लिखी थी नहीं लिखी थी? मेरा point of view नहीं है. It's about as of right now किसका क्या position है. आपने कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री ने कभी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को नमन नहीं किया है, अब वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को अपने सर पे फोड़ रहे हैं. That is factually incorrect. Today actually I heard Rahul Gandhi say in Kerala that BJP एक दिन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बदल करके आपको कथकली नहीं करने देगी, तमिल लोगों को तमिल नहीं बोलने देगी. That too is factually incorrect. Nobody is going to stop anyone from doing Kathakali.
30 more seconds.
Okay, 30 more seconds. Finish your point. Then we'll talk about
30 more seconds,
past course. Yes.
Basically, why I said please don't think it in isolation. The unilateral government that we are seeing over the last 10 years, there were some incidents. Let me just list out a few for you. First point, expelling 146 MPs from the parliament to get your bills passed. Then you have spoken about one nation, one poll, wherein there is a risk of regional parties going extinct out of a multi-party democracy. Then your own leaders like the Anand Hegre, Arun Govil or Diya Kumari have in fact dog-whistled about changing the constitution. So as far as democracy is concerned, we all know what happened to the institution, the constitutional institutions like the ED, CBI, IT and the Election Commission. You brought in the Election Commission ordinance despite the Supreme Court ruling. This brought doubt into the minds of the people and the opposition that genuinely, if this comes into power, along with the right-wing everyday narrative that we want to change the Places of Worship Act, we want to change the Waqf Act, we want to bring in the new UCC, all these have spooked a different section of the people at different times during this election.
People have got spooked, Anant Vijay, people got spooked, one, because of the BJP government's unilateral decisions, and two, कुछ चीजें जो कि पहले बोली गई थी और अब उनको रीथिंक करने की जरूरत पड़ रही है थैंक्स टू द कांग्रेस कैंपेन.
मैं चौधरी साहब इतिहास की बात कर रहे थे, आपने नेहरू जी को भी कोट किया. छोड़ दीजिए, ये मैं याद नहीं दिलाता हूं कि संविधान का पहला संशोधन किसने किया था। और क्रॉस रोड पत्रिका पर पाबंदी लगाने के लिए लियाकत नेहरू समझौते को मान्यता देने के लिए वो 16 दिनों तक बहुत लंबा चला था, उसको छोड़ देता हूं मैं। पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री चंद्रशेखर, अगर आपको याद होंगे तो उन्होंने अपनी जेल डायरी जो इमरजेंसी के दौरान लिखी है उसमें 17 अप्रैल 1976 को उन्होंने एक चीज दर्ज की है, और उस दिन कांग्रेस कार्य समिति की बैठक में संविधान संशोधन के लिए स्वर्ण सिंह कमेटी की रिपोर्ट पर चर्चा हुई, और उस चर्चा में कांग्रेस पार्टी ने यह चर्चा की कि उच्चतम न्यायालय के अधिकारों में कटौती कर दी जाएगी, उच्च न्यायालयों के अधिकारों में कटौती कर दी जाएगी, वैधानिक जो बिल पास होंगे उसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चुनौती नहीं दी जा सकेगी, और अगर उस पर चर्चा होगी तो 7 सदस्यों के जज चर्चा करेंगे। रही बात उसके बाद की, तो उसके बाद उसी स्वर्ण सिंह कमेटी के आधार पर 42nd अमेंडमेंट हुआ। संविधान किसने बदला? उसी इंदिरा गांधी ने बदला।
लोगों के मन में तो घर कर गया है ना, कांग्रेस का कैंपेन लोगों के मन में घर कर गया।
देखिए, गलत चीजें बहुत तेजी से फैलती हैं, और ये बीजेपी को अब इसका निषेध करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि एक ये मैसाचुसेट्स यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी अमेरिका की एक सर्वे है जिसमें वो बताता है कि अगर आप गलत चीज फैलाओगे तो वो बिजली से भी 16 गुना रफ्तार से तेज चलती है। तो उसी तरह ये चला है नैरेटिव।
हाउ डिड इट एक्चुअली मैनेज टू कन्विंस दलित वोटर्स दैट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड रिजर्वेशन वर इन डेंजर? राशिद किदवई.
Padmaja, first of all, to set records straight, you see, amending constitution is nothing, illegal or wrong. There are several countries, including our own country, there have been several, constitutional amendments. So point number 2, you see, Constitution Review Committee was also formed for the matter of record by Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. Justice M. N. Venkatachalaya commission was appointed, and they submitted a report. So it is not that it's only the Congress which has done it, the BJP has also done it. The issue of reservation is a two-way street. One narrative was set, and in our elections we have seen, I would say unfortunately, all kind of things are said where truth, facts often become casualty, and it is not a one-way street. So all political parties indulge in it. If the Congress did this kind of fear-mongering relating to reservations, there were a lot of things were said, none other than the Prime Minister also, Padmaja, that the reservation would be given to Muslims.
But without do you getting
think
into that
economic criteria is a background of wherever Muslims are getting reservations. So that fact was not told, was not narrated.
But do you think it is going to work further? It did work in the Lok Sabha elections, and I'm going to put out data to show how. My question is that now when at least the BJP is trying to say कि ये झूठ था, the videos were doctored, we have never changed the constitution, Rahul Gandhi is continuing to say, no, the BJP will change the constitution, they will take away a reservation. Are the people going to continue to buy that is my question to you. Rashid Kidwai.
Padmaja, we must understand, though it is politically incorrect to say that, but legally, you see, the reservations were a temporary measure. They were to be reviewed after 10 years. So it comes under review in 2019, it would come under review in 2029. If a political party is saying that certain aspects of reservation may come under review, then it is not, something, again I said, it's not factually incorrect. It's in the realm of possibility. So Rahul Gandhi, you see the rhetorics, narrative, I don't understand, Padmaja, just one last thing, that we have a very famed, election machinery of the BJP, Panna Pramukh, and all kind of, apps and technology. How was it that when this narrative was set by a very weak and fragmented opposition, the BJP could not, gauge it, could not crack it?
And it's a complete failing. People talk about how there was intelligence that this is being done via social media, via WhatsApp groups, via door-to-door campaign. And today you can have videos being circulated saying, oh, Congress ne bhram phailaya. But why did you not know it at that time? We, however, are going to look at how the Dalit vote was actually impacted. Let's start with the voting pattern across India and how the various caste groups actually voted. One side for the BJP and its allies, and on the other side for the Congress and its allies. So here is what we found out. That across the country, when it comes to Dalits, how Dalits voted in the 24 Lok Sabha polls, the Congress had a mild dip in its share of Dalit votes, 1%. 1% dip in the Congress's share. But look at the Congress's allies. An 8% increase in Dalit votes, and in Uttar Pradesh, the biggest gainer was the Samajwadi Party. Then among the BJP, you had a 3% drop in Dalit votes, and among the BJP allies, there was a 2% drop in Dalit votes. The question is, Shazia Elmi, what did you do to arrest this, and what will you do to arrest this further? Because Rahul Gandhi said even today, ये संविधान है और इस संविधान को बीजेपी खत्म कर देगी. In 24 elections, it's already hurt you. He's going to say it again in Maharashtra elections and in the Haryana elections and more. What will you do? Shazia Elmi, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are having recurrent problems with the connection of Shazia Elmi. JVC Sriram, how can this be combated? Is there any scope even?
Good evening, Badbaja. I've got the CSDS details state-wise. What is clearly shown is that there has been a dip in the Dalits vote for BJP in places like Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Otherwise, there has not been a significant drop. I can even give you to the state levels in the next few minutes' time. But as far as BJP is concerned, BJP has got certainly a task in its hand to set the right narrative, because in Maharashtra, if you look at it, BJP has got only 35% of Dalits vote and 36% of Adivasi votes. There has been certainly a dip. If you look at Uttar Pradesh, 24% of Jatav has voted for BJP and 29% of non-Jatav had voted for BJP. This is a significant dip. But on the contrary, if you see some of the other states, in Bihar, 65% of Dushit and Pasi have voted and 58% of other SCs have voted for BJP. Even in Tamil Nadu, 16% of Dalits have voted for BJP. If I look at all India level, as you mentioned, this is all according to the CSDS survey. All India level, 31% have voted for the BJP, 36% have voted for the NDA. And when I come to specifically to the women, BJP received 35% of Dalit women vote, while Congress received only 32%. And as far as tribals are concerned, 49% of tribals have voted for BJP, while 32% have voted for the Congress. Now, what is the big story here? The big story here is there are 4 states where Congress party has ran a campaign or a negative fake narrative and which has yielded results. Where are they? 1, Maharashtra. Number 2, it is Rajasthan. Number 3 is Haryana. And number 4 is Uttar Pradesh. Now, you should understand, BJP is the strongest when it is at the weakest position. BJP is weak when it is a strong position. I might sound paradoxical, but understand, when Karnataka was lost, that is when BJP stitched a rather spectacular comeback at Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. And Chhattisgarh, none of them believed when I said they are coming back. So this should sound as a death knell and headache for Rahul Gandhi and India Alliance partners, because a wounded BJP is like an wounded tiger.
Okay,
and
so let's bring in the wounded BJP and ask them what are they doing to actually heal any of those wounds, which largely the Dalit vote, Shazia Elmi, has dealt you. Let's take a look at the Uttar Pradesh numbers. And let's be very clear about it. This wasn't just about the Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai pitch that was made by the Samajwadi Party and the Congress. Even take a look at the way in which candidates were chosen. Now, upper caste vote of the BJP and the NDA has remained steady. But here should be the real worry. These are the 2 communities which had solidly backed the BJP. The Jatav vote of the Bahujan Samaj Party had gone to the Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh. But now, INDIA has a major chunk of this vote. 25% of Jatavs voted for INDIA, 24% for NDA. Even the Kurmi Koeri has shifted slightly now to INDIA, 34% with INDIA and 61% with the NDA. And among the non-Jatav Dalits, 56% with INDIA, Shazia Elmi, and 29% with NDA. Yes. Why? Let me actually tell you another factor. Do you know that the maximum tickets by the Samajwadi Party were given this time not to Muslims and Yadavs, but were actually given to other OBCs and Dalits? That's how they managed to get this vote. Shazia Alvi.
So, first of all, because I was not part of the conversation for the first 20 minutes, let me set some things right. On the day itself, the India parliamentary meeting, I said it on many channels. Look, I have seen Prime Minister in BJP headquarters and in the parliament bow to the constitution. So it's not happened for the first time. I think Indian National Congress, many of our journalists and Samajwadi Party just should get a better research team so that they know, because this is part of public memory, and I think they kind of skipped over and thought it was thanks to them, and it was only possible because the allies were there. So every time 14, 19, a Prime Minister with a majority has always bowed to the Constitution. 1. 2, 50 times Indira Gandhi toppled the elected state governments of various places. First time it was done outside of the 50th time, and before that was the famous EAM Nampudri Path in 53. And we know what Nehru did at that point of time. So that's how it started. Out of all the time, the Constitution has been amended as 136 or more, I don't know the exact number, 100 times it was done by the Congress Party. So it's just a memory, a sweet memory.
We've discussed that. The point is now we're looking ahead. You gave this entire argument during the election campaign. People clearly have not bought into it. My question to you is, how will you assure the Dalit voters that what the Congress is telling them is not correct? They haven't believed you.
Well, it's already coming true. You see, all the lies have already been caught. People are there asking for money. In fact, my challenge to the Congress Party now, that they have, governments in 3 states, Telangana, Himachal, Karnataka. Why don't they start the khatakhat business there? They should start the khatakhat, patapat, and we'll know how soon there'll be safachat. So who stops them from giving 1 lakh of rupees every year? And sometimes even... So
okay. Broken promises and false narratives eventually begin to tell. Go on, Kamruzaman Chaudhary.
Yeah, Padmaja, basically you see one simple point is that Congress has lost elections subsequently and the voters have rejected it. So let us not bring what happened during Indira Gandhi's time or Jawaharlal Nehru's time. You had got a mandate in last 10 years. We brought up to the voters what we observed and what we feared the most. There is nothing wrong in it as an opposition. Now we are a bigger opposition, so it's time that the BJP watch out about this. Secondly, during our 2019 manifesto, we had issued 72,000 to the voters, to the poor people under the Nyay scheme. We lost the election, we could not provide it. But Karnataka government has provided 5 Nyay guarantees to the people of Karnataka, and all of them are running smoothly. Okay. So we do not need any bhashan from BJP pravaktas about what the Congress Party needs to do. And most importantly, when you are discussing about what BJP needs to do to get back its old vote base, you see, in Uttar Pradesh, the typical exam is the winning of Avdesh Prasad from the Faizabad seat. The shift from the religious politics to the caste politics in Uttar Pradesh is best illustrated from the Faizabad seat. A Dalit candidate winning from a general seat, that itself is a statement that the Bharatiya Janata Party should take to heed. Most importantly,
actually that's a very good example. General seat से उन्होंने पासी को खड़ा किया और वो जीत गए अवधेश प्रसाद.
ठीक है, पर अयोध्या की स्थिति को समझने के लिए अयोध्या को समझना जरूरी है. वो कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स नहीं है, वो लल्लू सिंह के खिलाफ वोट है. और अयोध्या की जनता, अयोध्या एक चीज करेक्ट कर दूं, अयोध्या विधानसभा में फिर भी बीजेपी को ज्यादा वोट मिले हैं. तो मैं सिर्फ इतना बताना चाहता हूं कि अयोध्या में जो परेशानियां लोगों को हुई, येलो जोन, रेड जोन, आप अपने घर में जा सकते, मतलब जो लड्डू का व्यवसायी है वो अगर लड्डू लेके चढ़ाने आ रहा है मंदिर में तो उसको 2.5 घंटे वहां खड़े रहना पड़ता है. और जो वहां की लोकल लीडरशिप थी वो प्रशासन से ये सहूलियतें नहीं दिलवा पाई, लोगों को पर्चियां नहीं पहुंची घर में. ये इसका कोई
अगर हम अयोध्या को ना भी माने, जस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ कैंडिडेट सिलेक्शन, द फैक्ट दैट Samajwadi Party has given 32 OBCs, 16 Dalits 10 upper caste and only 4 Muslims. Ticket distribution they have done smartly. Caste calculation उन्होंने अच्छा किया.
हाँ, उसमें बहुत अच्छा किया उन्होंने. 5 यादव को दिए, पांचों एक ही परिवार के दिए. ये भी ध्यान रखा उन्होंने कि 5 यादव को टिकट दिए, एक ही परिवार के यादव को टिकट दिए. तो नॉन ओबीसी को भी टिकट दिया उन्होंने. टिकट बंटवारा उनका बहुत स्मार्ट था. दूसरी तरफ भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जो टिकट बांटे उसमें बहुत फ्लॉज थे. उसमें देखा नहीं गया. अब मतलब हेलीकॉप्टर से उतारे गए, चाहे वो अंबेडकर नगर हो, चाहे श्रावस्ती हो, चाहे आप देवरिया जीत भले गए, लेकिन वहां भी उस तरह से जो कैंडिडेट्स लाए गए, मुझे लगता है कि इस बार बीजेपी ने अपना होमवर्क ठीक नहीं किया उत्तर प्रदेश में. और उत्तर प्रदेश को इन आंकड़ों से नहीं समझ सकते, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि वहीं ठीक बगल में बिहार के दलित क्यों नहीं बीजेपी से
नहीं. बट आपने बहुत अच्छी बात की, विच इज व्हाई आई विल शो यू द बिहार नंबर्स. आई कम टू यू शाज़ी अलमी. आई वांट टू ब्रिंग इन रशीद किदवई ऑल्सो. आई वांट टू शो यू द बिहार नंबर्स. बिहार में yes, they have got a sizable number of Dalit votes, but here is the interesting thing. The RJD has made major gains, not the Congress so much, but the RJD has made major gains in terms of Dalit votes. Take a look at how it has changed for INDI and NDA from 2019 to now. So you see the upper castes over here. Even upper castes have gone down slightly for the NDA, but let's leave that aside. Koiri Kurmi. Keep this in mind that you have got a Kurmi chief minister and a Koiri deputy chief minister of the BJP in Bihar. Despite that, minus 12% Koiri Kurmi vote for the NDA, plus 9% for India. Other OBCs, minus 21% for the NDA, plus 1 for India. Dusad and Pasi, minus 19% for the NDA and plus 28% for India. My limited point is that nobody is arguing that all the Dalit vote, Rashid Kidwai, has gone away from the BJP, but there is a shrinkage. Even in places like Maharashtra, in Bihar, even in Madhya Pradesh, where they have done a clean sweep, the Dalit vote has shrunk slightly from the BJP.
पहले 10 सेकंड में बोलना चाहता हूं, बस 10 सेकंड. आप देखिए, आप ही के डाटा में दिखा रहा है कि यादव 8% आए, जबकि तेजस्वी यादव वोट पे थे. ठीक है. और दुसाद और पासी में 19% का गिरावट है, जबकि वो अपने चिराग पासवान दुसाद कम्युनिटी से आते हैं. बस मैं इतना कहना चाहता था.
So I think Padmaja, it tells you a story that there is a lot of very astute chess player. You need to get your arithmetic right. You need to get your caste calculations right, and that's where the BJP has been outsmarted. Now there are two avenues. One is of introspection, and the other is about accountability. I am always very curious, Padmaja, that in UP, Bihar, there were double engine ki sarkar. There was the famed Mr. Amit Shah's election management. There were all those Pandna books were there, Chanakya. So where is, you see, and then of course there is a party president and there is a star campaigner in Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So is BJP going to set some accountability? Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, to be fair to him, he did offer to resign, and that was something I will welcome it, but there was no follow up.
Okay, respond. Shazia Almi, you wanted to comment.
Yes, so I feel, thank you Rashid Bhai for that question, and it's an honest question. First of all, have you noticed, since the results came, have we ever run away from any institution, blame the people or the voters or the EVM machines? No. Second and most importantly, when you talk about having accountability, you will see it, and I don't think there is an issue with that. So while you can revel in the fact that there are indeed chinks in the armor, because the famed, strategy, policy has failed, you can find chinks in the armor. It's coming from those people who don't have armor. So yes, definitely give people to take pot shots, but then just look at our numbers. Because we judge ourselves by our standards, we take responsibility. Not because you are saying what you're saying, and you have a reason to say that, and a right to say that, and I respect that. But the fact of the matter is that by our own judgment, by our own strategy, and because we've had many mistakes, and nobody can run away from that, and nobody will run away. But here there is a certain degree of self-introspection and honesty. Talk about Chavasti or Balia, there is reason there, and one must look at that. So these are important things to be said. When you look at the Dalit vote shifting, I mean, look at the fact that DSP, now you say, don't all of you keep crying foul and say there are no Muslim candidates. Samajwadi Party had barely 6 candidates, Muslim candidates.
We had
BSP
4.
had 20, but BSP had 20, but Muslims did not vote for BSP. Now that's strategy. So that's good strategy, in fact, for Samajwadi Party, and also from the point of view of the minorities, because they felt doesn't matter if we have
That is
Muslim votes
exactly
or
what
not.
we are saying. We are all saying
Yes,
Samajwadi Party
absolutely.
had a good strategy. My
Yes,
question
I'm agreeing with
is,
that.
what is your strategy to get Dalit votes back? That the Samajwadi Party had a good strategy, we have all acknowledged here. What is the BJP strategy?
No, I was saying something else. I was not saying about Samajwadi Party. I'm saying that it doesn't matter whether you have a Muslim candidate. Muslims will vote for whoever it is, and whether it's a Parsi or a Kurmi, any Pichda, anybody, not because only because he can defeat BJP.
Yes,
so the
but the
myth
question
that
here
you
is
have to have a
Dalits.
Muslim candidate.
Shazia Ilmi, in 2022 assembly election, your single biggest win was that the Bharatiya Janata Party managed to get non-Jatav Dalits and non-Yadav OBCs to vote for you. So if non-Yadav OBCs and non-Jatav Dalits are voting for Samajwadi Party and Congress, where did your messaging go wrong was my question. JVC Shriram wants to address that.
So clearly our messaging was not powerful enough, and clearly the narrative, even the faith narrative, was very strong, and there was indeed this belief that radical changes will happen, constitution will be tampered with. It had no basis whatsoever.
Correct, but
was
that
clearly-
claim is continuing even today. What is your counter to that was my question. JVC Shriram wants to come in.
See, I think, my good friend Kamaruddin, I would like to ask. He says Karnataka, they've delivered guarantees. But in Karnataka, BJP had won, NDA had won 19 seats. And Congress have just won 9 seats. So what is the point? And my question to the India Alliance, and particularly to the Congress party. In 2019 also I raised the same question. You promised 72,000 Nyay. You ran governments in few states like Punjab, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Why couldn't you implement even in a single state? Now you ran a campaign saying that you're going to give 1 lakh to the unemployed youth and 1 lakh to the Mahila. Now my question to you is, you have a government in Himachal Pradesh. Can you show that? Because you cannot be all the time, 24/7, Congress party is indulging in lies. And people have to realize that. And BJP will have to go and tell this to the people that here is a party, here is a leader who thrives by lying 100% of the time. But Congress party needs to understand, you can fool all the people sometimes, but you can never fool all the people all the time. That time has come, and Congress lies are going to be busted in the coming election. And after that, let me tell you, no Dalit or no OBC is going to look forward to the Congress. Already, these people have started going to the Congress party offices.
I will
and
try
asking
to
for
fool all the
Karnataka,
people all the
Where is
time.
it?
That pretty much is the idea of politics. Final word, Anant Vijay, यही स्ट्रैटेजी रहेगी? क्या आपको लगता है कि ये आगे भी काम करेगी? टू से कि संविधान खतरे में है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी उसको बदलने वाली है, रिजर्वेशन जाने वाला है।
ये स्ट्रेटेजी तो ऐसा ही लग रहा है कि ये रहेगा। और जैसे कि अभी हमें उत्तर प्रदेश से हमारे मित्र बता रहे थे कि जो संविधान छोटा वाला गुटखा बना है वो 5,000 कॉपीज उसकी ज्यादा बिक गई हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी अभी इसी स्ट्रेटेजी पर काम करेगी, लेकिन बीजेपी को बहुत गंभीरता से सोचना पड़ेगा। ये सही बात है कि संविधान बदलने का जो नैरेटिव है वो पर्कुलेट किया है नीचे तक, और लोगों में एक भ्रम की स्थिति उत्पन्न हुई है। ये बीजेपी नेतृत्व के ऊपर है कि किस प्रकार से वो इस नैरेटिव को बस्ट करते हैं और लोगों के बीच ये भरोसा देते हैं कि नहीं, हम यहां हैं और हमारे होते हुए संविधान नहीं बदला जा सकता। प्रधानमंत्री कई बार इस बात को कह चुके हैं, लेकिन ये तरीका और ढूंढना पड़ेगा, कार्यकर्ताओं के स्तर पर ढूंढना पड़ेगा, जमीनी स्तर पर नीचे जाकर लोगों को समझाना पड़ेगा कि नहीं, संविधान को और आरक्षण को खासतौर से संविधान बदलना, देखिए वो एक एकेडमिक विषय है। संविधान बदलने की बातें जेएनयू के उसमें कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम में हो सकती है, लेकिन उससे आरक्षण को जोड़कर और उसके खत्म करने की जो बात है उसने सबसे ज्यादा हर्ट किया है और लोगों के मन में जो भ्रम हुआ है वो उनके वोट में दिखा है।
ओके, फाइनल वर्ड कमरुज़्ज़मान चौधरी।
Padmaja, permit me to quote a professor of JNU, Ajay Gudavarti. caste remained a significant factor all through the 10-year period of Modi's populist mobilization. What the BJP managed to do was internally subvert the democratic aspirations of the marginalized caste. They offered them representation without any accompanying social demands. This came under stress in the election. Don't link anything else to reservation to anything. What percolated, you can make a Dalit as the president of our country, you can make an OBC as the chief minister, but why are you so afraid of doing a caste census? Why are you so afraid in increasing the reservation quota? Secondly, my dear friend JVC out here, I know how anguished you are. Your favorite candidate Annamalai lost in Tamil Nadu. So thank you, better luck next time. Before advising Congress party what it has to do, what it does.
We will come to Annamalai and the South in just a second. I will leave it at this. It will be interesting to see if actually this particular argument or this pitch is now in any way going to nudge the government towards a nationwide caste census, because on the issue of caste, the road is wide open. The Congress has managed to push the government a little bit. How far? We will see in the coming days. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Shazia Almi for joining me.